I'm alive. Hello, y'all. Got echo. Hold on. Okay. All right. That's a lot better. Hello, everybody. I'm Melissa with MJH Designs. I'm coming in. We're going to draw something today. Normally is on Tuesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time, but couldn't do it yesterday. So I'm here today. And I asked for suggestions, and one person in particular, I just went looking for photos. One person said a picnic basket. And then I saw this when I was looking for a picnic basket, and I'm like, oh, and it kept calling to me, and I'm like, I just really want to draw that basket of apples sitting on that chair with that blanket hanging over the back. I just think it's really pretty, and that would make such a beautiful painting. So that is what I'm going to draw today. Hope you don't mind. And so y'all come in, tell me hello, what you're doing, where you're watching from, and all that good stuff. Hey, Stephanie, I'm going to pull up my iPad over here just in case I uh, don't know who I'm talking to when you comment. So that will help me out. Talking to when you comment. Turn my volume down. Hold on. You know how we all hate hearing ourselves talk. All right, so I'm just going, I have this printed out. I don't know what size it is. I just put in, I've printed it and it prints large. So then I just shrunk it down 50%. Isn't that beautiful right there? I just love that. So I shrunk it down 50% so that I could get it in the screen and not take 10 hours to do. So I actually have this space next to it, and I'm going to draw it off on this paper. Let me tell you, this is the cheapest paper I've ever seen in my life. It is so thin. Oh my gosh, I just needed some really fast one day, so I was ran to Dollar General, good old Dollar General, got their multi-purpose paper. It's a piece of work. All right, so here we go. We're just gonna hop right in and start drawing the apple. So first of all, I'm gonna get my base here with my chair. I'm just gonna kind of draw what I see right here on this side. And then, let's see it. And then I can come and draw this little section right here. Hey, Janet Caraway, right here. And this is not straight up and down. If you lay your pencil down, remember lay your drawing utensil down, whatever you're drawing with, and you can transfer it over like this, and it gives you the angle. If you don't, if your mind doesn't mess with you on the way from here to here, mine does all the time, um, then it will help you out as far as seeing, most importantly, seeing that angle. Your brain's always going to try to tell you to do something different. So don't always listen to it, okay? Because a lot of times it's going to lead you astray with drawing. All right. So these are just light lines that I'm going to be erasing and getting just right. You know, nobody gets it right off the bat, even professionals. I don't call myself a professional as far as drawing goes because I can't, go crazy with drawing. I can draw basic things and that's about it. And that's all you need to do. All right, so this angle, let's just go ahead and do this little bottom part of the basket. It is not straight across. It is a semi curved, maybe a smiley face. So let's just go ahead and come in and put in our little smiley face right down here. And now I can come over and draw this line in. So I can put my pencil down right there and it shows me that it is not straight up and down. And it's not angled the same way as that side for sure. So you can just slide it over to right there. And I already lost my angle, but I pretty much know how it goes. So there we go. And now this comes up to here, and then you've got this little curved edge that comes around back here. So I'm just going, it's going to overlap outside of this line a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this in just so I can get it there. And then y'all, that something's way off on that one. Looking at it in the screen, I can see it so much better than looking right here. Okay, so there, from there, we can draw our, well, actually, I could come in here and draw this little, you see these little scallopy kind of, thank you, Jan. These little, what do you call, what kind of shape? You're just going to come in like this and draw. They come off of each other. And these are shorter than those. I've got way more on mine than I do than is in the original. But that's okay. Nothing ever has to be exact, ever. You change it up however you want to. All right, so there, from there, there is this back side here. This is going to be, instead of, this is really important. Like if you didn't have these apples in here and you were trying to draw the back side of that basket, instead of drawing a full circle, which everything is a shape, you know, and that is a circle, but it's more of an elongated oval. So you want to flatten out those surfaces back there. So that is not going to go way out here. You can see that it is more flat. Hello, Shanna. It's been a long time. It's more flat like this right here. And this is a helpful tip for you is to, when you're trying to draw something like that, just go ahead and get that motion going and do this long motion right there. Remember, you have erasers for a reason. So this helps you to get that going and get it going in the right direction. And then we're just going to put our apples in on top of it. But I'm going to come right inside of this. And you can come up a distance ever how far up you think it is. You can just put you a little mark there so you know where you're going and where you're stopping. I'm going to come to about right here. And I'm going to come right here. So I am going to do a curved line. And then you may have to do some adjusting on it. And these are vines, so you can have, you know, several different vines coming down. It doesn't have to be exact. Then you've got these little knots, I would call them. And right here on the very edge, I don't know if you can see this, but do you see how this went back? This little, I didn't just carry them. It's not going to be flat. It's going to be more three-dimensional because I'm carrying that around the back of there. This top row especially is going to go backwards, and then these are kind of curved in that same direction, and that is going to give it that appearance that is going around there. Hey Rosie, you're finally home. Good to have you back home. I'm sure you had a ball, our little world traveler. All right, so you can add more lines to this for more little pieces of stick, whatever it is made out of vines, my brain. It's been a while. My dad had been sick with cancer, but had final testing today and he's clear. That is wonderful news. That is awesome. Yes, ma'am. All right. So now we're going to pull this one down and it's going in the opposite direction and kind of curved. And I just kind of hook them together. Like they, you know, I curve them into each other. All right, and then we have this basket over here, and this basket, this knot, this one has like a piece of vine going through it. And again, it doesn't have to be exact like this. But I'm going to carry some of these around from the center of this around to the back side, the same way I did those others. Does that make sense to y'all, what I was talking about there? And then I'm going to come from the back side over here into the middle, and then I'll create some kind of little rectangle right smack dab in the middle there. Is that too close? It's not focused in. There we go. Something like that. Doesn't have to be exact. All right, so now you're going to, I'm going to double this part right down here at the bottom. Now, you know, whenever I draw something to draw it, I put detail in there. When I draw it to paint it, I don't put all that detail in there. So if I were drawing this to paint it, this would just be a single line. That's all I would put. And maybe some of this scallop work just to remind me that it's there. That would be it. That'd be all I draw on that basket. But since I'm drawing it to draw it, I'm just going to come in, and there's several ways I would go about. I'm looking at the weave here on the basket because I'm going to draw it different than I would paint it. All right, so a helpful tip to make this look like it's going round, instead of drawing your stuff straight across like that, you don't want to do that. It's not going to appear round, it's going to appear flat. So you want to angle these lines coming in downward like this from the edge of the basket. And that already gives you the appearance that it's going round. And then the same thing over here, they're just angled in a different direction. All right, so now I can just come in and just maybe put in some kind of something. I'm just kind of trying to straddle these little long elongated ovals to give it the appearance. I'm not trying to do just like what's in the photo. Nobody got time for that. I am not a realist at all, so it's just going to be my take on it. I'm not quite straddling them the way I want. So that gives you the appearance of a basket, right? Now I need to put some down here near this edge. And then this edge is much darker, the bottom part. So I'm just going to shadow that in. And then I can put some darker areas by pressing down harder. Now, if you were going to be using, if you're just drawing to draw, you're going to be using different pencils, and some of them are harder and softer and darker and lighter and all that kind of stuff. But that's not what we're here for. We're just here to draw basic stuff, so it helps us with our paintings. If you were just drawing this basket, if you can see deep down in there, it is much darker on the inside. So you can see through one of these. And I'm trying to get way too technical with it, but you can see through one of them to see the outside, but that's not necessary at all. But I'm just going to darken right here along the edges. All that would be darker down in there if you were just drawing the basket. So you can just take one simple thing out of a photo and try to draw it. Don't try to get overwhelmed with drawing the whole photo. When you're just starting out, just pull one thing, and see if you can draw it and work on it until you can, and then add to it. Add to adding the apples in there. So start simple and then, do more and more as you can. So again, I have this chair back that is right back there, and it's kind of a little bit curved, or either my brain's playing tricks on me because I know it's curved. The back of the chair comes up on the basket. This is one of those things I really want you to pay attention to is where things start and where they stop. So it is going to come back over here on this basket. That's where you're going to start. You're not going to start down here. So bring your pencil way up here on the basket, about right here. And this comes out at an angle as well, like this. Now that was angled further probably than I would have done. So I'm just lightly putting that in. And I'm not doing a hard line. Instead of doing, drawing with hard lines like this, you're just going to kind of wispy in these little strokes. You can come back and add those hard lines, but you can get it a lot easier, I feel like, if you're just putting little wispy lines in first and then get what you need in there, and then you can come back and add whatever you need to. So I've got the top part right here, this part there coming around and over. And now I need to add this part right here. And notice that it comes off of this line and it comes back to about right here and comes down at a slight curve. Not a big one, but a slight. And then it curves around and it follows the path of that one. And then it goes out of the picture. You don't see it. So the edge of the photo is kind of like this. All right. So then it's very, very dark in here. You see a tiny hint of a shadow of a leg. The leg comes in from that edge to about right here and comes down. I'm making this up because I cannot see it. And I'm just going to make up maybe a piece of a leg right there. I know there's one in the back. If you were going to paint this, I would just paint it a deep dark color and just have a dry brush of a light mark of paint color just coming down just to give you the appearance of something that in your brain knows it's a chair leg, but you don't have to spell it out. You can just put one little stroke of light in there and that would be enough. Now, I know in real life that my chair leg is going to be shorter back there because it is in the back and everything that goes off in a distance gets shorter as you go. But I don't see that much of that chair, so I know that's not going to be the case in this one. All right. Also, picking things out to notice. You see shapes everywhere. Everything is a shape. So you see a triangle right here. That is the shadow where that blanket is coming up from the chair. And then you see all these long rectangles, which is the back of the chair, and then the blanket itself is a rectangle, and then it's kind of swooped over. Let's look at the shadow work. You've got shadows coming in here. These are all shapes. This is like a tear shape right here with a little darker right at the center. Usually when you have shadows, you're going to start near the surface is going to be darker and it's going to get lighter as you come out. And then this one is elongated, much darker here, and it gets lighter as it comes down. Hope pointing those things out helps you with your drawing and your painting. All right. So now why don't we just come in and draw some apples? All right, so apples, these are, let's see, I'm going to come up to about right here and draw my first apple. I'm just going to kind of carry that little circle in. I'm not trying to do it like a perfect circle. And then I can erase everything that's in there already. Now, my stem, I don't know if you can see this up close. My stem is right down here. The back of the apple is right back there. So I'm not going to draw like we did in kindergarten, where we put the apple, well, it was more like a tomato, where we did the stem right at the top. You know, we have come a long way from then. So we're going to come down into it. And this makes like a another smiley face right there. And it has a little short stem right there. All right. So that gives you the rest of the back of the apple that you can play with when you get ready to paint it or whatever. We do have lots and lots of opportunity for shadows and color and light and all that kind of stuff just on one apple. If you notice at the very back of the stem, you've got more of a yellowy green color back here, but then it's darker right there on the edge. And then you have that lighter green color and coming down right here. And that gives you the appearance of also for light to be hitting that apple. But there's a little bit coming in off the edge over here. Even though it's red, you've got that light color coming in at a slight angle. And then all this darkness. You see all that darkness. And it's super dark. We would probably be scared to paint it that dark, but it is that way in the photo. So I'm just going to try to put in some of that darkness coming in. I'm just drawing the shapes that I see on that apple, and then I will color it in with my pencil. And remember, you don't have to be totally exact. As long as you get something that looks a little close. And I'm going to do a little bit on that back side. And then right in here, now this is way more than I ever would do, but it's so helpful. If you're just learning to draw, it's helpful for you to do all this. If you're learning to paint even, it's helpful for you to do all this. I'm going to lightly shadow in everywhere else and let that light part be my light. And if you were drawing to draw, you would use a tortilla. I think it's tortillion. What is that called? This. Let me get it out. I will show you. You can use it. You need a white eraser, but here. Come here, little thing. This. You can use this to shadow with and shade and all that kind of stuff, but then you use your white eraser to take marks out for your highlights and that kind of stuff. But again, we're not getting into all that. All right, so let's go ahead and get this apple next to it. It just kind of curves down. There is when it does come in touch, it looks like it's touching. This one's a little more wide than round. There is a slight dip in it. It doesn't come all the way across. How's the weather? It is absolutely hot. Hot and sunny. hot and sunny. All right, so now I have this stem does from what in my eyesight it does come up off of the apple, and then I have this shadow work coming down from the side, coming up with some kind of weird shape. And again, you don't have to have it exact. Probably spending way too long on this. Got a little light coming down there. Got a little light right there. When you go to paint something like this, you're looking, this is helpful for you because you're looking for those shapes that you were putting in as your shadows and your lights, even on a drawing. You're looking for that in paint as well. It's hot in New Jersey too. Now this apple is turned on its side, and I kind of already have this little motion going on from the side of my basket. It's going to help me out a little bit. So I'm coming up above that apple and over the edge of my basket. And I'm just going to draw in my apple there. Now this one is a little bit different because it is going to the side. I'm going to put my little smiley face right there, coming down. And then my stem is coming up, and it still does not go off the edge of the apple. It goes to the very tip of the apple. And then I've got some shadow. I've got a light area right there and then shadow. And then I'm going to draw some more shadow coming down and around. A little bit going down into that loopy loop area and some on the back side. Then I can draw in my light area. All right, so now I'm going to connect this back apple to this one. See how you just draw one thing and everything builds off of it. So this one's going to come downward over here on the edge, if you can see. And then it's got a little shadow area right there, and the stem actually comes off the apple this time. Shadow right there. Then I can draw this shadow in. It kind of curves around the apple. Anything you are drawing or painting that is round, you want to continue like we did that basket. Everything's going to appear to be coming from back around that circular object. Yeah, I don't mind because I'm not drawing to be, drawing. Like, I just draw for fun, for play, and I'm not drawing a fine art piece of art. I'm just drawing in a calendar or right here on a piece of cheap copy paper. So yeah, this does not bother me at all. If I were a real pencil artist, graphic, graphite, all that kind of stuff, I'd be using nicer versions of all the different pencils and that kind of stuff. But that's not who I am. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm here to just motivate y'all to draw and to try things that you thought you could not do, because this in turn is going to help you with your painting. And like earlier I said, if I were drawing this to paint it, I just have a basic line going up here. I just get in the shapes and the basic shapes, and that's it. I would not be putting all this detail. The apples would definitely not be in there, probably. Maybe, but just a oval or something like that. I would not be putting all this stuff in it unless I needed it to help me with my shadow work. Sometimes I will draw the shadows in, but then I've gotten so far along now that I can just look at the photo, and you will too. The more you do, the more you're going to get like that yourself. You're just going to see it. It's going to come natural to you, and you won't have to draw it all in. So you will automatically see these shadows, and you can just put that in with paint without ever drawing it in. You will see these highlights right here, and you can put that in with paint, and you won't have to draw it in. But there are still some things that I will draw in a shadow. If it's something I've, not really painted or something before, then I will put it in there, like clothes and stuff like that. But again, depends. That's my lazy way, I would say, of doing it, where I'm not really having to focus so much on the photo or pay attention to it or whatever. If I know I'm not going to have the photo with me that I'm going by, then I will draw it in to help trigger my remembrance of where those shadows are. That makes sense. All right. Now this apple is turned on its side. It comes up from here and over. But no, if I were a real drawing this, like for a big, nice, fine piece of art, I would probably not be using this pencil. But I can't stress to you how drawing helps you. You're going to have to, at some point, there's going to come a time where you're going to have to draw something. Something you're tracing off is not going to work. Something is going to go wrong with your projector, or your graphite paper's not going to work anymore. It's going to be old, or you need to buy more, or, just something like that. You're going to need to be able to draw a simple line or a shape and that kind of stuff. And being able to see that and see what you need to draw is only going to translate to your paintings. All right, so most of that one's dark back there in the back. So right here, I'm going to darken where these come down. Darken this part right here. And then there's a few little lines that come across. Darken a few coming up. All right. And then you can put a few little lines of dark coming in around here as well. Not all those lines need to be dark. Hey, Rose. All right, so there's our little basket area. Now, on our chair, this whole photo is kind of dark, but you see there is shadow right along in here is shadow. There's a strip of light right here. There's super much, super much, super much light coming around right there. And there is a little bit right there as well. So I'm just going to come, and that shadow is stronger right up under that basket. You're going to have kind of a line coming out that way. And this is where this would come in handy to shadow as well. Let's get some of this mark making in here. You've got this doubled edge coming out and around. And then it stops right there. And this is what I don't have patience for. Not with a pencil. Just don't. This is why I could never be this kind of artist. There is a slight mark back there at the back. So, and there is shadow coming down right in here. It's very dark. It's hard to see it. And I am throwing this mess in here because I'm tired of drawing it. So I'm just giving you the ideas of it. So all along in here is going to be lighter. I just drew my light in. Where normally I wouldn't draw it in. If you were drawing, you would erase it in. Imagine that. You take your eraser and you can, there are kneaded erasers too, like this. You can knead it into a shape that you want. But again, just come across something like that with your light. If you I just lost my camera. Hold on a minute. I gotta get my charger. I guess it went dang dead. Hold on. Can you hear me? So it didn't give me a warning. If it did, I didn't see it. All right. Let me know if you can hear me. There it comes. Hold on. We can hear you. Okay, good. Thank you, Janet. It's always such a lag behind everything. So I had to wait a few minutes for y'all to respond. And you probably respond right away. And it's just, I'm waiting on my phone to catch up so I can hook it back up. Thank you, Rosie. Settings, camera, back camera. I had to do so much just to get it going. There we go. Coming, coming, coming. All right, we're back at it. Except for I need to mute it. Sorry about that. All right, so now we got the basket done, and I spent way more time on that than I should have. So now I'm going to come up from, you can see the distance from the top of the chair to the basket, you know, somewhere right around in there. I just use my fingers to measure. So somewhere right around in here, I know the edge is going to come to here, just somewhere in that area. And then that blanket is going to come up above the edge, and it comes down through the apples. I can go ahead and get it. That part is kind of curved right there. Go ahead and get that part in so I know where I'm coming to with this blanket that's curved. And I can adjust it however I need to. If I need to be over a little bit, I can bring that over. And then I know the top part is out of the photo. So this is the edge of the paper. So this is the edge of the chair. I'm going to come over here and just pull it down. I'm going to come and do this part first because I see that triangle shape there. That is the blanket. So that gives me where I'm going to. And I can bring that up. So that is my blanket. Now I'm going to come in and put in my back rails on my chair. This one's going to come down from here and up over that knot just a little bit. And then I've got one more. And my blanket is not where it needs to be. Move that over. Again, it doesn't have to be just like the photo, but it helps give me guidelines on where I'm going and where I'm stopping. Thank you for those stars, Rose. Now these lines are straight up and down where that blanket is not. So don't let your mind play around with messing that up. So this is darker. It's frozen. Are we still frozen? It's the internet, I'm sure. It's been very slow around here lately. I see a piece of a chair rail or something over there. All right. So there we go with that. This is like outside. I see trees and grass, so I can put that in if I want to. There's a line right in there for like grass. And now I'm going to come over. I like to hop around and get my placement just right. So down here, I've got the little fringe, and I'm just going to lightly draw a wiggly line there and come up with it just a little bit. I see a line that comes into the basket. That is a fold in the blanket, so I'm just going to lightly put that in. And then I'm going to come off of that fold right here. And I want to go up and over. I'm coming over about, it comes out from the basket about this distance and goes up. So I'll come over and then go up at a slight angle. And then I can pull that in. It's not exactly right. Something like that. So I got my blanket in there. Now I can come in and start putting in my little folds, my little creases. This is like a little triangle, long, elongated triangle shape, and it's dark. And then next to it, it comes down. This line comes to about right here on that angled line that comes up, about right here, maybe. So I can put that in. Hello, Michelle. And then if you notice, this is a line, but over here to the side is dark. So that is just your shadowed area. And if you were doing this with paint, you would just paint that darker color in right there. I did that on the totally wrong line, by the way. Let me go ahead and put the other triangle in right there. I painted my triangle. Painted. All right, this one comes, it is like making a smiley face, but with like a duck's beak or something. You know, it's more of a cutoff line. And then you got that little dark area there. And then you got a little dark area here. And then it's a mid-tone right there. I've missed seeing the drawing tutorials. This is a doozy one. I mean, not hard, it's just time. I'm spending way too much time on it. See, there's light right there. It makes a shape. It kind of comes up and curves over, comes back around. Everything is a shape. All right, so then we have this one. It kind of comes out at an angle and then comes down right here. And then this is a little shadowed out in here, but it's not a whole lot. It is just a little bit of a shadow around that whole area. Same thing over here. This is shadowed back in here a little bit, but not as much as that right there. So if you were painting this, the ivory color of the blanket, then you're just going to go a little bit darker. And then the same thing down in here. We've got this little section coming across there. I would just paint that in darker and then come in with a lighter color and put these little crisscross designs in there. And then I would come in with my paint with a little round brush and just bring in these little lines of squigglies coming off of there. But I do see a shape there of a shadow. And then I see shadow. Keep hearing that. I see dead people thing going in my head. Every time I say I see shadow work, there is shadow coming up from here. So actually at the top part of the blanket is coming from this apple to that corner, and it is shadowed. And then you got a little shadow up in there. But I do see some more shadow, lighter, super light shadow coming down in there. And maybe a little bit here. My basket is jamming. All right. Thank you. There does need to be, you see how there's darker areas in certain places in the basket? You can kind of darken those little places. All right. So there is a piece of the chair over here. It looks like I can't really tell if that's what it is or the edge of the chair. I have no idea. Right there. Anyway, that's it, folks. That is it for today. Get that little hard edge in there. Okay. Was that very, very intimidating? A little stressful? But if you just got to start with one thing, that's the whole thing. Start with one thing and add to it, and you're pretty much going to keep going and going and going. And use that pencil trick for your angles. And then get your spacing and all that just right. And then get one thing right. And then do the next thing and get it right. Work on it until it's right. And then you finish off with the whole drawing. So that was our picnic basket. I think Rose, was it Rosie? It was Rosie that said picnic basket, I think. But I found the basket of apples when I went searching for a picnic basket. And Rosie, if you really want to see a picnic basket, I've done one before, and I don't know if any of y'all know. You can go to my page and go to videos, and you will see videos from 4 years back. So you can sit there and binge watch videos like you do Netflix. All right, and there is a basket. I remember doing on an interactive Thursday. I think somebody suggested a picnic basket. I painted one on a blanket and bread, and I don't remember what else. So go find it. All right, that's it for today. I'll be back next week and possibly paint this and um go from there. So next Tuesday, I hope to be back at 12 noon, even though today is not Tuesday. I know that. I will be back next week if things go the right way. All right. Y'all have a great day and go try your hand at drawing something, whether it's this or it's an apple. Just draw an apple and set one up or find a photo of one and draw it. I think I might just do that. I'm going to go binge now. Girl, you are really you need a life, Michelle. All right. Y'all have a good day and I will talk to you later. Bye.